Hi, so I know I haven't been posting lately, but today is mainly about logs and the three major properties that we can use to simplify them. So before we get started, let's first identify the three types of properties. So the first one is called the product property. And what that means is if you see log b x times y, then that means it is log bx plus log by. Now that's the product property. And now the quotient property means if you see log b x over y, so x divided by y, then that means log x have to minus log by. So when you see a fraction, then the top one has to minus the bottom one. And last but not least, we have the power property. And so if you see log bx to the power of y, then that y here have to go, the y here have to go in front of the log. And so here, as shown here, we have y log bx. And what that means is y times log bx. Now, let's try simplifying the logs. So what does simplifying the logs even mean? So when we see simplify the logs, we want to try to make this into a single logarithm. So we can see that there are two right now. We want to make that into one, so we want to simplify. So let's try the first one here. We have log ax. So for now, let's just remain it there, log ax, plus we have the 2 here. So that means it is the power property, and we want to move that 2 into the power of y. So log a y to the power of 2. Now, are we simplified yet? No, because we want to make that into a single log. So here we can see a plus sign here. And remember, when we see a plus sign, that means it is the product property. So we have log a x times y squared. And now that is the simplest form. So now let's try a more difficult one. We have this here, and again we want to make that into a single log. So before we start caring about the signs, the plus signs and the minus signs, let's first focus on the power product. So here we see 1 over 2 in front. Again, that means the 1 over 2 has to come right next to the a, so that becomes log a to the power of 1 over 2 plus log ax remains the same, minus, again, we want to move that 1 over 2 right next to the y, so log a y to the power of 1 over 2. Now again, we're not done simplifying it. We have the plus signs here, so let's just focus on these two. So we know that it is a plus sign, so that means it is the product property. So that means it is a to the power of 1 over 2 times x minus, we will copy that down here, log a y to the power of 1 over 2. Now here we have a minus sign, and the minus sign means that we want to use the quotient property. So the first one divided by the second one. So we have log a to the power of 1 over 2 times x divided by y to the power of 1 over 2. Now here we can just remain our answer like that way, or we can create into a square root. So what that means is when we see, for example, let me move this here. When we see just a simple a to the power of 1 over 2, that's the same thing as square root a. And here again, if we see y to the power of 1 over 2, that's the same as square root y. So we can also write it that way. So log a square root a times x over square root y, or we can write our answers as log a square root the whole thing a times x squared, because this x here does not have anything, and if we put it inside a square root, we have to do x squared over y. So we can have three different types of answers depending on what the question is asking. If it asks for not having the square root, then we can remain our answer like this. Or if the question asks for simplifying into square root form, then we can leave our answer like this or like this. So that's it for simplifying logs. So thank you for watching.